What's up guys, it's Cryptic and we're talking Final Boss King today. Now this is gonna be an extreme guide. I did manage to complete it on Hell, however it's very difficult. I completed it maybe twice in, let's see, maybe about 7 hours. So yeah, unless you're like a mega whale, it's pretty hard to do it consistently on Hell. So we're talking extreme today and this is basically the team we're gonna be running. Now Elaine has a very critical role in here. You can use Merlin, but she's nowhere near as good as Elaine, and I'll show you why during the match. SSR Liz, very critical for doing this quest. Use ultimate move 6 times. If you didn't know, SSR Liz starts with 2 ult gauge, and her ult gives everyone else on the team 2 ult gauge. So if you run ult food, and I'm going to be recommended ult food for this run, yeah, you can pretty much get this quest done pretty easily. Now apply dissolve on an enemy 4 times. That's basically ult gauge rollback. So you have a couple characters that can get this done. You can use Gotha with his ult. You can use Merlin with her normal attack, and Elaine also does it with an AoE attack, as well as a skill rank down, like similar to House's ult. She has that on a rank 2 and a rank 3 card. So well, you guys should know what House ult does, but basically if the opponent has a rank 2 or rank 3 card, it ranks it down and then depletes the ult gauge by the amount ranked down. Okay, moving on to the gear. I actually used the gear I usually use on my associates to do this run, and that's just to show you guys that, hey, you don't need to be geared like insanely well to actually get this done, right? This is all R gear, and pretty much I use R gear on everyone. So Elaine has R gear on. These are all my associate gears on top. But yeah, Jericho has R gear and common gear. Liz is also another person that I'm running in the team, and it's R gear and it's common gear. So you don't need to be geared insanely well to actually get this done. The last person on my team is Jillian, but she is in the sub slot. If you guys don't know what Jillian does, I'll put it up on the screen. Basically, it gives green heroes 30% extra HP. And it's actually a massive bonus because it allows you to tank King's ult in phase 1 without like having to overheal or panic about damage and trying to die very early. So yeah, definitely recommended Jillian in the sub slot. If you can, 66 Dara. I mean, it's pretty critical for this raid, or Final Boss King, I should say. It's pretty critical for it. Yeah, there's a couple other options that you can use. You can use Alioni in the back if you really, if you get really well. Also, I know that a lot of people are going to be using Escanor instead of Green Jericho. Now, that is a very viable option. Escanor might actually be a little bit better for consistent runs. Jericho is definitely the best for high scores, but yeah, Escanor, I mean, he's a tank. He does really well with his skill set in here, being able to remove buffs. His damage is just insane. Yeah, he's probably the most consistent person. Okay, so moving on to the actual run. So yeah, I used ult gauge food on this run because of the fact that it makes it a little bit easier to get one of those quests done, which is to use ultimate move 6 times. Having that extra ult gauge on Liz at the beginning is a good start. Now, there is something critical that you guys should be paying attention to, and that's the type of cards that King is using. So if it's gold and silver, this is basically a rank 3 and a rank 2 card. His attack here does an AoE attack, and you'll know what kind of damage to expect based on 1, how many buffs he has, and 2, what kind of cards he's using. Now if you rank down, which is this card on Elaine, what it does is it actually ranks down his skills. So if he has a rank 3 and a rank 2 now, and you use this on him, it's actually going to turn into a rank 2 and a rank 1, which means that the damage coming in is way less, right? And that's kind of critical to know, because you can use it at certain times in the match to know when you can avoid healing, or you could take a little risk and not heal, I should say. Yeah, so that's definitely something that you can use to your advantage. First of all, I get that ult gauge on Liz, so I get my ult next turn, and then I give Jericho 3 ult gauge orbs. So her having 3 ult gauge orbs means that next turn when I ult with Liz, I'm gonna have Jericho's ult already. So another thing to note, on turn 1, this guy never has his ult. On turn 2, he always has his ult. Yeah, so another thing to note is that on the turn 2 ult, you can actually tank this. You don't need to take away his ult gauge just yet. If you're running Jillian in the back, you have the HP to do it. Just tank the ult, it's fine. It's not going to kill you. Even if it has a gold card behind it, it's not going to kill you. Remember guys, I'm using all R gear here, so I mean my gear is not insane. Okay, so this is what I was speaking about, where you have a lot of choices that you can make based on the things that exist. So right now he has 4 attack buffs and he has 2 gold cards right now. If I don't do anything to deal with these stuff, he's gonna kill me next turn, right? That's guaranteed. I have options here. I can either take off his buff. So if you guys didn't know, a rank 2 Elizabeth attack actually removes buffs. Elaine's ult also removes buffs. So it will take off these 4 attack buffs here. And this card here ranks down his rank 3 cards to rank 2. So I have a couple options as to what I can do. I can either rank him down, I can take away these buffs, or I can just max heal myself. Now, obviously the highest priority for me at this point is to get that Liz ult again, because I want to be cycling through my ults, because I have to use 6 ults before this match is over. So I do the merge to get the most amount of ult gauge out of Liz, right? And then I take off the buffs, which is very important as well to reduce the incoming damage. And then I go ahead to heal, just so I top myself off so that I don't get obliterated by those 2 gold cards. Now I have Jericho's ult as well as Liz's ult, and I do have some good Elaine cards as well. Okay, so one thing you want to always do is use Jericho's, or use any ult before you use Liz's ult. You should be using Liz's ult last, and the reason for that is so that you can recharge that ult gauge at the end. So there we go. Now I have 2 ult gauge on every character once again. And okay, so it's very critical going into phase 2 that you have an ult gauge depletion for turn 2 in phase 2. If you don't have that, King is going to ult, and it's Green King ult, which means that he has a 100% crit chance, and he's just going to wipe the entire team. So if you have ult gauge depletion, do not use it in turn 1, and make sure and save that for turn 2. And also another thing that you want to pay attention to is here in turn 1 in phase 2, if he has 3 gold cards, he's going to kill you straight out, right? Another thing to note is that whoever has the lowest HP is who King usually targets in this phase. So if your my Jericho has the lowest HP in this team right now, and he's almost definitely going to attack Jericho, and once he attacks Jericho, he's going to keep attacking Jericho until she's dead, and then he's going to deal with the person with the least amount of HP again. If he has 3 rank 3 cards or gold cards here, he's going to kill whoever he targets. So then you can actually use Elaine to rank his attacks down, giving you a higher chance of surviving. Okay, so here I'm building Liz ult gauge, and that's pretty much all I'm doing, right? I do know that he has he has only 1 gold card inside there, and he's going to be attacking my Jericho. Now, I'm assuming that that gold card doesn't kill me, and as long as it doesn't, I should be fine, right? I mean, this was really close because I know his last card was a bronze card, which is a rank 1, and it wouldn't do that much damage, right? So here we have to deal with a lot of stuff here. We have to deal with his ult, because if he ults us, he's going to wipe the entire team. He's not only going to kill Jericho, he's going to wipe the entire team. That's Green King ult. It's a 100% crit chance. After that, we have a rank 3 and a rank 2 card, right? Now, if I deal with the ult gauge and I remove his ult gauge, he's going to be left with these 2 cards. However, that will kill Jericho right now. So what I have to do is I'll end up ranking down these cards as well as getting rid of this ult gauge. Okay, so this card, this rank 2 card, what it's going to do is it's going to rank down his gold card and his silver card to a silver and a bronze, and it's going to deplete his ult gauge by that amount, right? And that's going to remove his ult, so he's only going to be left with 2 attacks for next turn. Also, I use a 3rd card here, which means that it's going to rank down his cards actually twice, and by me ranking them down twice, it's going to turn into 2 bronze cards. Now that should be enough mitigation to keep that Jericho alive for those 2 attacks. Because if Jericho dies, it's GG and that's game. So I rank down all his cards and he loses some ult gauge. Now he's gonna have almost 100% crit. That's probably gonna be like very close to 100%. Okay, at this point I am checking to see how many ults have I done. Now I've used 4 ultimate moves in this match so far, and I've also done the ultimate move gauge depletion by 3 times, right? And now the quest was 4 times, so I need to do this once more, and I need to use 2 more ults to kill him. And if I do that, I'll have completed all the quests. Oh, another one is yeah, current turn 7, right? So I have to complete it in under 12 turns, and that will be all 3 quests done. Right, so here I want to use the ult gauge depletion again to make sure that I get that quest done, as well as I need to remove his ult, because if I don't, I'm dead. Also, I'm going to max heal with Liz, and that actually gives me my Jericho ult for next turn as well. So that's the quest done. I've done the deplete ult gauge quest, and I do have enough HP on my Jericho to tank these 2 attacks. I did remove his ult, so I'm pretty solid here. Now, yeah, I'm gonna run you guys through what's called a crit reset, and you'll see here that I don't crit. Now, I didn't do the crit reset here because I was just doing a tutorial video. Basically, I wasn't too interested in getting like max damage or max points, right? I've actually done this on hell mode. It took very long, but yeah, so this is a easy way to get like 1500 to 1600 points. Now if you do crit on that boss at the end, you're gonna be closer to maybe 17 to even 1800 points. Doing that on extreme, that's gonna land you top 5% pretty easy right now. So yeah, I have done this on hell mode and I've gotten a score of 2672. So that's why I wasn't really too concerned with getting the crit reset, but I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. Now the crit reset is actually very useful in a lot of different scenarios. You can actually use it to, let's say you try to kill the boss using some damage and you didn't want to use like any of your bigger damage cards or an ult, let's say, and you didn't kill it and you didn't force the boss into phase 2, you can actually reset the round and add more damage or use more damage cards, or even use an ult and change the outcome of that stage, right? I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. Okay, the crit damage reset. What is it? How does it work? Let's talk about it. So basically, I'm sure you guys have had that point in the game where you were doing, let's say, a boss battle or a demon or anything like that, and the game crashed, and then it allowed you to come back in, and it said you had a battle that ended unexpectedly or something like that, and do you want to continue? So if you click yes, you load back into the game. Now let's say that you already used all the cards in that round before the game crashed. So the characters already started all the animations and then the game crashed, right? When you load back in, you are back to that point where you have to reselect the skills to go in. Now that means that you can technically change the outcome of the round by putting different cards in, right? So we're going to go through the crit damage reset and how it works. So in this round, I'm actually going to select some random cards here. What I want to do is I want to see if I crit or not. And here, I don't go for max damage, this is just a test run. And what I'm showing here is that I do the 3-star freeze and then it does not crit, right? This hits 330k. Now, what you do here is you usually, if this did not crit, what I would do is I'd press the X very quickly. So you exit out the game, and then when you come back in, you load the game back in. It's going to bring you to this screen, and then you can press OK, and it loads you back into the game. And just to skip ahead a bit, let's see. Okay, so we're back at this screen now, right? Where we can now have a different opportunity to actually try to crit, right? Now before, you would know, I think I did one of these attacks, or maybe it was the Gustav attack and then a rank 3 freeze and the ult, right? So how the crit reset works, we have to talk about something called the damage variation and the ult at the end, right? So the ult at the end is always fixed. That's going to be in the fourth card slot in this equation, right? And the other three, we can manipulate those cards in order to change the values, and that is possibly going to change the ult value at the end, right? So if it is that I do exactly what I did before, where I do the Gustav attack, the rank up, the 3-star freeze, and the ult, it's guaranteed to not crit, because that's what the coding says for this turn, right? This turn, if I do those combination of cards, it's going to hit 330k or 303k or whatever it was, right? It's always going to hit that every single time I do that, right? So by what I can do in order to change that value is that I can change the cards that I use in here. If I use any other damage instead of this Gustav card, right, what I'm doing is I'm changing the damage variant before the ult, right? And when that happens, it gives the ult a different damage value, and that value can possibly crit. So basically, you can run all the iterations of these skills, and one of them has the possibility to crit, or actually even more than one, right? Obviously, the one I'm going to be going for is the rank up into the Hellbrand buff, into the 3-star freeze, and the Jericho ult. Now if that crits, that gives me max damage this turn. However, if it didn't crit, what I can actually do is I can eliminate one of these cards, which is most likely going to be the Hellbrand buff. I'll take the Hellbrand buff out, and I can use any one of these cards to change the damage value that is dealt to the boss before, meaning that I can do that rank up, the 3-star freeze, and the ult. Now, even the rank up has the possibility to change all of these cards and their damage values. So if it is that I rank up and let's say I use a 3-star bleed instead of a 2-star bleed, it deals a different damage value, which means that it's a new possibility for the ult to crit. So this gets really confusing, but basically what I'm saying is that for every single combination that exists at the end, as long as the damage value is different, you have a new possibility to crit. You have a new possibility to do a different amount of damage with that ult. So we're just going to go through this ult right now and see what happens. Right, you see this one crit and it was a different value. It wasn't the 330k or how much of it was. This crit, but it was 323k. Now I'm going to run you through one more iteration that I did where I reset the game again. I'm not going to show you the loading screen again, but yeah, you guys know what you need to do. So at this point, right, if it is that the move did not crit, what do you want to do? So yeah, you exit out the game very, very, very quickly as soon as you didn't see the value crit. In that case, it crit, but that's not the run we're going for, so I exit out the game still. Okay, so I loaded in a new game now, and we're just going for the max value, and this is going to be the rank up, the freeze, the buff, and the ult. And basically, I'm going to hope that I crit here, and as long as I crit, I'm good, right? Right, and with this variation, I actually get a 1.5 mil crit, alright? Now, I wasn't going for Guild Boss high scores or anything like that. I just wanted to show you guys that by changing the damage variant inside of the equation, you can change the value of the ult damage dealt at the end. Meaning that that value has a possibility, or a new possibility, I should say, to crit, right? So if you continuously do all the iterations, there's a high possibility that one of them will crit, and that's the one that you're going to go for. So if you have those perfect setup, if you have those runs where you have the 3-star go with the buff, the freeze, the buffs, and then you can get Jericho's ult to crit, yeah, that's what you want to do, right? In the final boss king as well, you can use the different cards to change the damage values dealt within that turn, meaning that the ult has a possibility to crit. And if you do that, you're gonna have much higher scores, right? If you crit, you get higher scores because you deal more damage, right? And it's partially based on the amount of damage that you dealt. So getting big values is actually very good for high scores.